So, Chaos Breaker's actually coming to Standard. Now make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. So we're finally going to be getting Chaos Breaker in Standard. And all I have heard is, oh my god, the game is ruined. I can't believe Bushiroad is doing this. Every time Chaos Breaker comes to the game, it ruins things. Well, first of all, Chaos Breaker, I think, is one of the most gimmicked cards within the game. And much like a lot of the Link Joker things, they can change how Chaos Breaker interacts. I mean, for all we know in D-Series, Chaos Breaker could have the ability to wipe energy off of the gauge. It would not be an unheard of gimmick for him to be able to interact with other things. I mean, we've got Link Joker cards that have the ability to wipe markers, all right? Like, who actually said that giving marker wiping capabilities to certain clans and units was going to be a good idea? And that's exactly what we have gotten with kind of the evolution of some of these gimmicks. I would not be afraid to say that, this actually could be dangerous and it could be a good thing. I like what they're doing. I will say that it does kind of feel like Bushiroad is kind of offering a little bit of an apology to the premium players right now. They're trying to lure in as many different players as they can with the old, oh hey, here is this really cool unit, please come over here and play Standard. I actually just saw somebody fairly recently that was actually very shocked with the combination of different units that are going to be available that they'll be able to play because of this. And, for the amount of people that are like, I'm done with Standard, the minute that they saw Chaos Breaker, quite a few of them had their faces light up like Christmas trees, and they actually became very, very excited for this. So I will say that, contrary to what you might believe, it does look like Bushiroad is trying to test out the waters. Now, the only thing I become worried about here is like stagnant levels of power creep, the inevitable, this card is going to break Standard, all of the standard arguments with that. Now, the thing I would be, that I am most intrigued with here is actually like the return of reverse units into the pool of things, especially with, Maelstrom being the first one to kind of touch down. I'm kind of impressed with that. Now, I'm not exactly, I guess my next question becomes this: how fast is Glendios going to be rolling into the stage here? Because any time that you bring reverse units into the fray, you're going to be having a lot of other discussions needing to be had about what other things can be lurking in the background from old Vanguard being brought over into the new section in the new era. But with that being said, though, Chaos Breaker, I think, is a phenomenal start to things. I'm very curious to, honestly know how the card's going to work. I am happy to see reverse units getting a second showing, but now I like that they've opened up the door here to all of the other incredibly cool ideas that, we can kind of incorporate. Also, I like that this genuinely does have ramifications for premium. Like, honestly, I think it's cool that, these cards are still interchangeably interactive with the old ones, whether or not, they end up being cool, bad, gimmicky, or what. It's also, one more Starvader named support card that we can actually work with maybe in the future. I mean, who really knows? They might not be Starvader, maybe they'll be Chaos Breaker locked, in terms of namesake. I guess, where do we go from here? Has been like the next possibly big question that's been asked. I don't know. You're getting more of the, you're really getting the pump up on the 15th here in the Ren Icon set. I know more people still want to see, Altmile and Asha decks later this year. I really want to see Asha getting made into a Stride deck set. Even if they have to become icon decks, I love Asha as a card. It has been amazing. Blue Asha is one of my favorite cards in the game. I would love a generic way to be able to, you know, just have the icon, or like give it the stride crest so we can actually play this. There are ways for them to still incorporate things. It's just my question right now is how much of the block are we hoping to push here? You know, how much of these icons, how much of the nostalgia pandering do we want to push for this block? How long do we plan on celebrating the 15th anniversary, and so forth? I mean, we still have another Buddy Fight set coming out later this year. It's just these booster packs have to be hitting the absolute key notes to be having selling points. And I guarantee to you, having Chaos Breaker running around is going to be a selling point none other than what you're like really expecting. Like, truthfully, I think them printing Chaos Breaker on a card was a crazy idea for sure, but it's going to get the job done. I've not been happy with where Vanguard has been. Like, I've heard infinite complaints about the Aichi Icon deck just being absolutely crazy aggressive, how it gets in your face and how it can ruin the game plan and, you know, take victory away from you. I get that, you know, the game has become a lot more aggressive. The icon decks are kind of ruining things. You know, we're not going to have to deal with the Like a Dragon deck in the TCG because, you know, we're not going to have that. You know, it very much reminds me of another couple of instances where these collab decks had taken over in Japan. Meanwhile, stateside, you know, we don't necessarily get to see these impacts on these things. And also, I mean, TCG's, I hate to say it, we're basically, what, like 2 sets? We just got 13. I mean, 14 will be coming up. I feel really far behind in terms of where the game is kind of heading here. The game needs to... I wish we could close the gap just a little bit to catch up with Japan, because, you know, for everything we've been recording on tabletop, you know, it's just been more focused on trying to, I really want to say, just kind of catch up on things right now. But with how things have been, I don't know. It feels like there's a very big gap between where we are and what's kind of happening. And it becomes a little tiresome because you can just look at Japan results and go, oh, hey, you know, this is the next best deck. Just go ahead and slot things in and, you know, kind of wash your hands with and go, congratulations, you know, we've already figured out the meta. You know, you don't really get that right now. Also, I can't really say that I'm necessarily like, I'm a little bit burned out on Vanguard. I know this is deviating from the Chaos Breaker cool, fun, and exciting to the a little bit burned out on the creativity aspect of things. I do think once I get my hands on probably standard Chaos Breaker, I think he'll be a little bit fun. But you also got to remember, I cannot imagine that they're going to print Chaos Breaker without having some sort of generic unlock support or some sort of built-in counter gimmick to him. Because we've seen in the past that Locke has done some very chaotically broken things to the game, and Bushiroad 150% is not going to allow that same mistake to actually happen again. So get your new toy smell out while you can, because the gimmick's going to go away. I just want to play. Honestly, I'm more excited for Buddy Fight than I am Chaos Breaker, because those gimmick decks have been a little bit fun. But the only thing I'm worried about is just like the gimmick on the cards like puts a timer on you, and it kind of like wears down the strategy. You know, you don't really get that oomph or like gas to really get the combos pushed through. It just kind of feels a little bit stagnant when you're getting into like the deck building presence of things. Like, that's why I like the first run of the Buddy Fight decks. Like, they were very cool and very creative, but like at the same time, man, you just really ran out of steam as things were kind of building. So that felt a little bit weird in terms of the creative space, but we'll be patient and see where this goes. So what do you guys think about Chaos Breaker returning to the game? Are you on the doomsday clock? Are you upset? You know, do you think Breaker is going to ruin the game forever? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Thanks for watching today's video. Check out tradingcardmint.com down below in the description. Enter MCool40 on checkout. Save a little bit of money on your purchase. Check out mcoolgames.com if you're interested in getting some cool play mats and single trading cards as well. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss one of our videos. Thanks for watching.